and wasn't committing. But okay, let's get into this game. In the top right-hand corner of the map, it is the red Protoss, Florencio. His opponent in the bottom left, the blue Zerg, canabuz. I think this is a really good map for Florencio's style. I'd actually be interested to hear if this is one of his favorite maps. The reason why I say that is there are lots and lots of ninja bases to take, and many of them are just so far out of the way of any potential scout. So Florencio's here, right? Even this, on his own side of the map, could be a potential ninja base. The corners could be potential ninja bases. Even a base like this one here on his opponent's side of the map could, if it's early enough in the game, could be a potential ninja base. And the reason why I say potential is because there are a lot of the bases are unlikely to be scouted early. And I know a lot of the time Florencio likes to take a ninja base as his natural. Not always. He'll mix it up. When you think you kind of have his style figured out, he'll mix it up on you. But I know in a lot of the games, especially the games where he's going straight into Stargate play, he likes to take a ninja base as his natural. So this map in particular, like I said, I think is pretty darn good for his style. Yeah, I don't know. He definitely seemed like a good player to me. And what impresses me a lot when I play against people on ladder is I like when I see that a player has really good fundamentals, like map vision. Like I said, map vision. If they're hitting me in two places at exactly the same time, but in not just once, but they do it consistently throughout the game. Stuff like that. I appreciate that. So Florencio is going to get underway here with a cannon rush, and this is quite a committed cannon rush. He's going to get a nice return on this investment, though, because this hatchery is dead, has no chance. Nice gas steal as well. This can actually limit something like a crazy one base layer into Nidus counterattack. So the Lings up. I thought they were going to get to work on that immediately. It looks like they want to secure this base first. That's probably not a bad idea. The Lings should signify the end of the cannon rush, but Florencio has already delayed the economy of canabuz by quite a bit. This gas will be taken out now, or I should say it will be begun to be worked on. It's going to take quite a while to take down that assimilator. As we all know, assimilators have more hit points than any of the other gas structures. 500 here, and what is it? It's like 900 for the assimilator. This wave of Lings is going to head across the map. Looks like they're about 10 or so. 12. Gonna head across the map. Poke up here. See that this is in fact walled off. There's a cannon there as well. Not sure why canabuz is going back up. Two queens are going to work away at this, and Florencio is already setting up the second wave of the cannon rush. So I apologize for not paying super close attention. I did not see if this was the original probe or if Florencio sent out a second, but seeing this one here, I believe Florencio did in fact send out a second probe. The drones are going to come over here and see this new wall of cannons, and I guarantee you canabuz is cursing under his breath, possibly even out loud. Roach Warren goes down. There are three queens. Three queens on one base. You don't see that every day. I'm wondering if this could signify a possible Nidus. canabuz does want to take the gold. The Lings are going to start working on these rocks here. Florencio is taking his ninja base up in the top left-hand corner. Dude, Florencio's about a 50-trick pony, bro. He's a 50-trick show horse. I'm telling you, man. I know this from experience. You think you have him figured out, and he'll totally switch it up on you. As I've said many times before about Florencio, I respect the way he plays. Like as we all know, I'm not a big fan of cheese, but what I respect about Florencio's play is everything he does is completely original, where he designs his builds himself instead of just picking up a cheese that he sees at the pro level. Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either. But I do think there's something to be said for coming up with your own builds, coming up with your own ideas, and then working them out and polishing them. So Florencio is actually getting a third base, which is relatively quick compared to other games I've seen with him. He's getting it before his double Stargate. A lot of times I'll see him go double Stargate off of 2 bases and then eventually add a third. Canabuz is just now saturating his gold base. Stallion. Heck yeah. And it looks like Canabuz is going to try to bust the front. Well, first of all, I don't think this can work without Ravagers. With Ravagers, this absolutely can and will work. I mean, heck, now that I look at it, it's only 1 pylon, so I take back everything I said. With only 1 pylon and 1 cannon, the Roaches will be more than enough to take out this pylon. The Ravagers are almost overkill, in a way. Big supply block for Canabuz. That hurts a little bit. And Florencio, though, with it now triple Stargate, because again, he does have his third base up. With triple Stargate, he can absorb the loss of both of these bases. As crazy as that sounds, he can lose both of these bases. He's going to recall probes. I'm calling that right now. He's going to recall these probes. But he can lose this because none of his key infrastructure is here. All of his key infrastructure is right here. And as long as he gets out a decent amount of Stargate units, even if it's off of just 1 mining base, he can do serious damage with that army. And if necessary, he can take another base while he's doing the damage. So Canabuz is coming in here. He's probably gleeful at this moment as he takes out the entire Protoss base. Cannon falls, no more defense. Florencio with the mind games. He does this all the time. I love it. As he says, it's part of the mental warfare. But yeah, so Canabuz is taking out this base. He's probably just beside himself, delirious, in ecstasy, euphoria, however you want to describe it. He is a really happy camper right now as he destroys what he thinks is the entire Protoss base. Of course, as we know, Florencio has set up shop in the top left-hand corner of the map now, and he's sending in the first line of Void Rays, which are going to run into 1 Spore and 2 Queens. I actually think this can be held. I think 1 Spore and 2 Queens holds 3 Void Rays. We're about to find out. The Queens would have to attack immediately. If the Spore goes down first, then this is a totally different story. Yeah, so the Spore goes down before the Queens even come into attack, and now the Queens are fighting without any of that support. 1 goes down. 2nd is going to go down, and in fact, it looks like Canabuz was not microing it at all. He did not focus the injured Void Ray. So Florencio takes that out, and whoa, wait, why on... Okay, he got a double lair. I have to think that's a mistake. But Florencio is going to take out this base, which is the superfluous lair. And at this point, Canabuz is going to be thinking to himself, why is my opponent not revealed? And he's going to realize that there is, in fact, a ninja base somewhere. Looks like that's what the Lings are doing right now. They are not... Okay, and it looks like he also just took them off of the path that he had set them on. So he was momentarily looking for a ninja base, does not find it, comes back to his own base. He has no anti-air whatsoever. He's just going to hope to land these biles, but Florencio, if he's on top of his micro, which he is at the moment, is going to dodge them all day. The mothership core almost goes down. This is a vital component of Florencio's build. What he wants to do here is he wants to use this mothership core as an escort for his Sky Toss. I'm guessing carriers aren't too far in the future. I think he'll need a second base before he goes into it, but I think that's the next wave after the Oracles. But anyway, as I was saying, the Mothership Core will escort the Skytoss army, especially if it's Void Rays or Carriers, the slower Skytoss units. And as soon as they're in any danger, he will recall. In before, oh no, you got me. So Canabuz now is finally going to take out this pesky cannon and pylon, but he's on one base. And let me tell you this, one base Zerg is not that great. There's pretty much one thing you can do with it, and that is a one base Ravager build. But we are far, far beyond that. With all of this being said, he does have a fairly large army. Florencio is going to poke back in here. There are 2 Spore Crawlers and 5 Queens. It looks like Florencio just wants to get the lair and he's going to go out. I think he's going to focus it down, but there are so many transfusions available. In the meantime, Florencio's base is being attacked. There are more transfusions available, but they're actually not going down. One more does go down. A Void Ray goes down. Spore Crawler getting to work on the Void Ray on the left-hand side. Another transfusion goes down, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Florencio can just poke right back in and take it out, which he does. We head back up to the top left-hand corner of the map, where Florencio's base is and all of his critical infrastructure. The Oracle's actually doing a fair amount of damage, particularly to these Ravagers, which, keep in mind, are actually going to be, or I should say, were key components to defense of the Void Rays, believe it or not. Reason I say that is there are only 5 Queens left, and they're all on low energy now. So, actually, I somehow missed the Hydralisk Den. Now, there are how many Hydras? Yeah, 1. That's kind of what I thought. So, that it is not really going to be a factor. But if Canabuz can somehow get a base back up, he does have this tech. I don't think, yeah, that's not going to bleed out. I think the hatchery, yeah, the hatchery should finish in time to spread the creep. Yeah, it definitely will. So that's not going to bleed out. If you say so, I'll take your word for it, Naka. But we actually have this situation here where there is no mining for Florencio and no mining for his opponent. Again, he's just sort of sharking around here. If you could pick off something like the spawning pool, that would actually be pretty darn big. Transfusions going down. Not sure that was worth it to transfuse the spawning pool. I mean, I understand how much of a pain it is to lose that. But at the same time, I think I would want the transfusions for my Queens. For when they inevitably have to fight these Void Rays. So yeah, even with those transfusions, the spawning pool did go down. And that's kind of why I was a bit skeptical about that decision. Because with the amount of Void Rays that Florencio had, if he wanted, he could focus the spawning pool. Whether it was transfused or not. So I would rather just position the Queens here and save the transfusions for the other Queens. Anyway, it can be pretty darn hard to know what the correct decision is at all times in a game like this. Crazy game where, again, both players were not mining, had 0 mining bases up until about a minute ago. Florencio's going to send in this fleet of Oracles as the Void Rays back out, and we've got 2 Spore Crawlers. It looks like Canabuz wants to take a base. Guess what? That's not happening. Even if the base begins, there's no way it will survive. Yeah, wow. And that's actually a huge, huge blow to Canabuz. He did not even get the cancellation off. 1 Queen actually goes down as well. Hydras do get some work in there, and a Revelation is cast. Nice job there by Florencio. But yeah, losing, what is it, like 225 minerals for a canceled Zerg hatch? Yeah, I believe it's 225. Losing 225 minerals in a game where you have 2 mineral patches left, one with 80, the other with 40 mineral patches, that is just a colossal, I don't want to call it a blunder because he would have had to respond very, very quickly. But we'll just say we'll just call it a misstep. Anyway, Florencio keeps threatening, poking in, backing out. Of course, with the revelation, he knows where this army is. One transfusion goes down. Nice job there by canabuz. I'm not sure if it was the queens or the hydras that actually picked off one of the oracles. But either way, the oracle does go down. Long distance mining now in effect. And these drones have to be babysat the entire time. I'm telling you right now. If Florencio pokes back in here, he's going to wipe out these drones. And that will be GG. If these oracles pick off these drones, it will be GG. There just are not enough resources to replenish workers right now for canabuz. Revelation goes down again on the army of canabuz. Florencio is just constantly lurking. He really is. He's like a shark circling his prey. He's waiting for that one moment where canabuz gets out of position. He's going to poke in and get to work. And I think that moment maybe right now picks off one drone, possibly a queen. Looks like he thinks better of it. Pulls back. I think he ended up getting 2 or possibly 3 drones there. Whoa, looks like it was actually 4. He was on 21 prior to that. So yeah, 4 drones. Did some more damage to the queen as well. These queens and hydras have to, like I said, they have to escort. They have to babysit these drones the entire time. Back here for Florencio, he's on 2 Stargates. He lost 1 to the Roach Ravager attack. He's going to send the oracles back in while the Void Rays just kind of sit over here and wait to get in on the action themselves. A couple more drones do go down, 3 to be exact. And I think canabuz is just working his way up slowly, bit by bit, to try to get another hatchery. Florencio pokes back in and picks off another drone. As I've been saying, each drone is precious. If we look at the income tab, it is vastly in favor of Florencio by like roughly 5 to 1. 5.5, 6 or so to 1. Extractor goes down. Not the biggest deal right now, just because there is a gas bank there for canabuz. He's actually being mineral starved at the moment. Good position here for the queens and the hydras. But I just don't know if this amount of units is adequate, especially when the reinforcements arrive right here. I think this could be the killing blow. And by the way, this is probably the worst possible thing that canabuz could do. I'm just going to say that right now. Hatchery is going to go down without a cancellation. No cancellation. So this is 100% all in. You know when the queens are marching from base to base, it is as all in as it gets in StarCraft 2. There's only 1 cannon here to defend, but the oracles can pull back easily and quickly and get to work on this army. If we take a look at the units tab, it's 7 Void Rays and 13 oracles against 7 hydras and 3 queens. I'm not sure what the drones are doing here. I'm thinking maybe they're just going as some kind of a buffer. It's the only thing I can think of. Another oh wow, actually quite a few cannons being added here for Florencio.
Your probes are under attack.
Attack incoming. The hydras are going to easily take down the first cannon. They're going to work down the second cannon, but as I said, this gigantic swath of oracles. Holy crap, 14 oracles. Actually throwing down some stasis wards as well. Yeah, this is going to be way more than enough to clinch the game for Florencio. I have never seen a queen die that quickly. Was that 16 here or was that 14? 8. Okay, it's actually 12 here. I'm not sure where the other ones are. Yeah, right over here. My goodness, I have never seen a queen just evaporate like that. Another crazy game from Florencio. That was a fun one.